Hello, and welcome back to Daily Story, your home for thrilling audio adventures. This is Magic Surprise F, and we are so grateful to have you with us. If you enjoy our tales, please consider hitting that like button, sharing this episode with a friend, and subscribing to the channel so you never miss a story. Now, get comfortable, and let's begin today's audiobook. Tonight's story is one we promised, a tale about a toy that holds more than just a simple surprise. This is The Toymaker's Secret. My name is Mark. I bought the Jack-in-the-Box for my daughter, Lily. It was an antique, a little worn, a little sad-looking. I thought it had character. The music was slow, the paint was chipped, but Lily loved it. The problem wasn't with the toy. The problem was that when the music finally stopped, it wasn't Jack who popped out. I found it in a dusty corner of a second-hand shop, buried under a pile of moth-eaten teddy bears. The box was made of dark, heavy wood, carved with faded smiling moons and sleeping stars. The clown painted on the front, Jack, looked more melancholy than jolly. When I turned the rusty crank, it played a mournful, drawn-out version of Pop Goes the Weasel. I cranked it all the way to the end. The latch clicked, the lid opened, but nothing popped out. The spring was probably broken. "It's charming," I said to the shopkeeper. He was a withered old man with cloudy eyes. He looked at the box, and a flicker of something, fear, regret, crossed his face. "Some things are best left on the shelf," he muttered, but he took my money anyway. Back home, Lily, my 7-year-old, was enchanted. "He's shy, Daddy," she said, peering into the empty box. She didn't seem to mind that it was broken. She spent hours with it, turning the crank, humming along to the sad little tune. The first strange event happened a few nights later. Lily was asleep, and the house was quiet. I was tidying her room when I heard it, a single, slow, creaking turn of the toy's crank coming from her closet. I froze. I opened the closet door. The Jack-in-the-Box was sitting on the floor, still. I must have imagined it. But the next night it happened again. This time I saw it. The crank was turning on its own, one slow, deliberate rotation at a time. The tinny music filled the silent house, each note hanging in the air with a dreadful weight. I snatched the box and locked it in my study. Lily was heartbroken. "You can't lock him up," she cried. "He doesn't like the dark. He needs to play." I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. That night the music started again, muffled from behind my study door. I ignored it, my heart pounding. Then came a new sound. A faint, dry scratching. Scritch, scritch, scratch. It was coming from inside the box. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the study and approached the toy. The music had stopped. The scratching was louder now, more frantic. I stared at the closed lid, mesmerized by a terror I couldn't name. Slowly, with a groan of old wood, the lid began to rise. It wasn't a clown on a spring that emerged. It was a hand, a long, thin, desiccated hand, like a bundle of twigs wrapped in parchment. It was attached to a slender, jointed arm made of the same dark wood as the box. The hand unfolded, its fingers tipped with sharp, yellowed nails. It reached out, feeling the air, before retracting back into the box with a soft click. I should have burned it, smashed it to pieces. Instead, I did something stupid. I opened the box. The creature inside was folded in on itself like a skeletal insect. It was ancient, carved from wood that seemed to absorb the light. It wasn't a toy clown. It was an effigy, a fetish doll, with a long, narrow face and hollow sockets where its eyes should have been. It smelled of dry rot and something else, something metallic and old, like dried blood. I found the Toymaker's mark on the bottom of the box, nearly worn away, a stylized raven.
A late-night internet search led me to a name from folklore. Corbin, the Toymaker. He wasn't a children's entertainer. He was a creature from old-world cautionary tales, a being who crafted toys for desperate parents who wanted to rid themselves of unwanted children. The toys were prisons. He would coax a child's spirit into the object, trapping it, leaving behind an empty, soulless shell. The blood drained from my face. This wasn't Jack's box. It was a prison for a child's soul, and whatever was inside wanted out. I raced to Lily's room. She was sitting up in bed, her eyes wide and unfocused. "He's coming to play, Daddy," she whispered, her voice flat and unfamiliar. "He wants me to take his place in the box." A wave of cold dread washed over me. The toy wasn't trying to escape on its own. It was trying to make a trade. I grabbed the box from my study and ran to the backyard. I threw it into the old metal incinerator, doused it with lighter fluid, and tossed in a match. The wood didn't burn. The flames licked at the box, but the dark wood only seemed to blacken and harden. The music started, fast and frantic now, a screeching, tinny shriek. The lid flew open, and the creature unfolded itself, rising from the flames, unharmed. It stood on the edge of the incinerator, its hollow eyes fixed on the house, on Lily's window. It took one single, creaking step. "No!" I whispered, my mind racing. Fire didn't work. Brute force wouldn't work. The story said the trap was bound by a promise, a name. "What was your name?" I shouted at the creature, my voice cracking. It paused, turning its head with a series of dry clicks. It pointed a long, twig-like finger at its own chest. "Jack," it rasped, its voice like the rustling of dead leaves. My mind reeled. It wasn't the child's name. It was the name of the jailer, the clown, the spirit of the trap itself. It was a trick. The real prisoner was still inside. The Toymaker's secret was not just that he trapped souls, but that he left a warden to guard them. I ran back into the house, past the horrible advancing figure. I burst into Lily's room. "Lily, what was the name of the boy from the story I read you, the one who climbed the beanstalk?" Lily blinked, a flicker of her old self returning to her eyes. "Jack?" "Yes," I said, grabbing the box from the creature's path as it stepped into the house. I held it up. "This isn't your prison anymore. This is Jack's box. Jack's!" I shouted the name, the word, the concept, like an incantation. The wooden creature froze, the name of its own nature, its own identity, spoken with intent, was a command. It shuddered violently, then began to fold in on itself, joint by joint, retracting back towards the box. It fought, but the power of the name was absolute. With a final sorrowful creak, it collapsed back in, and the latch clicked home. There was a soft sigh of air, and for a moment the faint, translucent image of a little boy with sad eyes stood beside me. He smiled, a whisper of a thank you, and then faded away. The prisoner was finally free. I took the box to the oldest crossroads I could find and buried it deep. Sometimes I still think I hear a faint sad tune on the wind, but I know it's not Jack who's trapped in there anymore. It's just an empty box waiting for a Toymaker who will never return. Thank you for listening. Be sure to join us next time on Daily Story for a terrifying journey with a spelunker who breaks into a sealed cave system only to find the cave paintings on the walls aren't just images, they move, reenacting the final hunt of a primeval subterranean predator in the Cave of Moving Shadows. That was the Toymaker's secret. We hope it sent a chill down your spine. This has been a production of Daily Story on the MagicSurprise F channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more audiobook adventures every week. Until next time, listen closely to the silence.